So you have arrived at work, you are parked in your spot, and you have about 3 minutes until you have to turn off the engine and go inside and start your day. Maybe you're really not feeling it. You could use a little burst of sunshine, something to put a smile on your face. Well, stop listening to me. Stop listening to the episode. Just listen to this song right quick, and then go inside and start your day. And then you can come back and listen to episode 14 a little bit later on. But hey, clock is ticking, so listen to that song. The song gets extra points from us for brevity. So yeah, perfect time. Go listen now. Stop listening to me. Go listen to the song. Once again, we are back with I Got a Song, episode 13. My partner in crime, Michael Long, are you with me?
Welcome aboard, and I am aboard as well. Let's do this thing, man. And isn't this, what episode number is this?
14, I believe.
14,
Did I?
yeah.
I said 13, didn't I?
I think you said 13. That's all right.
It's 14.
14.
So,
14 episodes, Clay. 14. If you were to listen to one episode per day, that would go for 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks of content.
That's 2 solid weeks. Well, you know, I mean, if you took...
Or if you binge it, it's like
day,
1 day.
If you listen to one a day, yeah.
You know, yeah.
You know, you could probably knock out the entirety of our catalog right now in a couple hours, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, and be sure to hit that follow button. No, I don't know.
Fired.
We talked a little bit a couple episodes about sometimes we talk about song length a little bit.
Okay. So
what is a good song length for you?
That's a really good question. So a song that is like heavy and chugging and kind of brutal and mid-tempo or faster, I tend to think shorter is better. If only
so
for the fact that
a heavy aggressive song.
Yeah. So I don't even know an example. Let's see. Bodies by Smashing Pumpkins. How about that?
Okay.
So that song's like, you know, it's just
it's a driving heavy, fast.
It's a driving heavy, brutal song, and I think it's only like not much more than 3 minutes, and it's like this perfect length. You know, I don't get exhausted.
That's pretty short
listening
for
to
a Pumpkins song. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good example.
Now that's not to say that there aren't, 5, 6, 7 minute, metal opuses that are not awesome, because there are plenty of those. But
there's lots of those. How do you feel about those? I mean,
I feel just fine, but again, it's kind of song specific, artist specific.
If it gets too meandering, it can get a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
there can be songs where it's like, it's about a minute too long, or it's a minute and a half too long, or they could have cut it off here, or something like that, and it might be the only knock on an otherwise perfect song, that sort of thing. And don't even ask me for an example, because I'd sit here struggling to come up with one. But I know I've had that thought on a number of songs over the years where it's like, this song is a bit too long,
Yeah.
But I'll say this, so slower songs, almost by nature, tend to be a little bit longer. And I don't need to listen to like a really slow, dreadful, sappy song for 10 minutes or anything like that. But a 4 to 5 minute song where it's like mid tempo or slower.
If something's happening, as long as something's happening,
yes,
right? Like the song is progressing.
Yeah.
And it's okay to leave some mystery, and like, okay, where are they kind of going with this? But I gotta stay. You gotta keep me engaged.
Exactly. If you're gonna take up 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes of my time, it needs to be worth the ride. Because otherwise, there's plenty of other good music I can be listening to.
What's your favorite long song? Not Michael Long, but what's your favorite length song? I can tell you a couple, but I want to hear if you can specifically think that song is a long song, and yeah.
Okay, well,
but I like it. And time goes by, and before I
one of
know
my
it's
best examples of this, and it is an acquired taste to the definition. Echoes by Pink Floyd.
yeah.
I could drop several Pink Floyd songs in this regard, but Echoes by Pink Floyd is like the ultimate, because I think the original cut of that song is like one whole side of the LP that it came out on.
Yeah.
It's something like
That one loses me. I can
20
get lost.
minutes. But I was going to
some
say
of those.
before you asked me the question, I was going to say that like instrumental or like extended instrumental sections in a song, that sort of thing, I tend to be okay with longer lengths and longer sections. Again, if it's interesting or appealing or emotionally satisfying, that sort of thing, absolutely. Now, for a little bit more concise song, again, going to Pink Floyd, I really like High Hopes from the Division Bell. I like, let's see, Pigs, Three Different Ones by off of the Animals album by Pink Floyd, stuff like that.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I've got I have some songs that and one of them being Starla by the Smashing Pumpkins, which is
yes,
11 minutes, but I forget that I get engrossed in it, and I don't mind. And the like, if you're into guitars and long guitar songs and guitar noise and stuff, it's just right up your alley, and that's why I love it. So I'm gonna get to this song. It has absolutely nothing to do. It's nothing like any of the stuff that we've just talked about.
Okay.
We went in such a strange direction.
Okay.
I can't wait to send you this.
Okay.
Here's what it is. The reason why I ask here, I'm just going to send it to you. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're going to be like, Clay, what's going on? What is this? Michael has no idea what the song is. Clearly, the listener knows what it is, and there's like, what are these guys talking about? Michael, when you see the song, tell me what you're seeing here.
Gimme Little Sign by Brenton Wood. Interesting.
Do you know this? Do you know this song?
I don't know it well, but I do know it. Yes.
Let's listen to it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Brenton Wood from 1967.
Oof.
From the album Oogum Boogum. The
right.
song is called "Give Me a Little Sign." You ready, Michael? Let's go.
Let's go.
At this time, for maximum effect, we recommend you go listen to the song in question before continuing with the episode.
That was my man Brenton Wood with "Give Me a Little Sign" from 1967. The album was Oogum Boogum. Michael, man, it feels like that song went by really fast for a couple of reasons. For one, it's so freaking fun and so happy and joyful.
Yes.
And then also, it's only 2 minutes and 20 seconds long.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I knew it was ticking right by, but that was. You're right. It's like the beat. There's no kind of.
There's no wasted space.
Yes, exactly. So they just jump right into it. Here's the song, and then they jump out, and it's perfect. It's concise, and
there's two verses, and then there's a little organ solo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was kind of drawn to that little organ solo.
Me too. You know what I like about that organ solo is that it's not a Doors organ solo. Which is quite possibly one of the most grating things. Whew. But for this, it's like it's a different sound too. It's not a Hammond or a Rhodes, or it's just like it's a. I don't know what it is. It's cool, and then right at the end, as it builds up, it goes. It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. It's just like at the end, they're like, okay, I got to end this, and I'll just take my fingers and go.
I think you nailed it. It's just a fun song, and
Yeah,
in all aspects. The vocal is fun, the music is fun, the organ solo is even fun. Yeah, man, what a pick, dude. Thank you.
it's a short song, and it's just like a quick little burst of like sunshine. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
It came on the other day, and I was like, I don't know that I know this song, but it feels familiar. And I
yeah.
started thinking that it came from some kind of like it had to have been in some kind of famous scene in a movie or a show or something. And I did a little. I didn't really find it.
Okay, it's just one of those songs that's just been out there, and I don't know. Yeah, you said it came out in '67, huh?
Yep.
Okay, well, yeah.
And his most famous song is on this album called the Oogum Boogum song. And I didn't really recognize it very much. I like this song a lot better. But there's a couple other good tracks on this album. And I'm going to put a couple other recommended songs in the show notes. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, man. Well, you know how I gravitate towards Motown, old
Yeah.
soul, old R&B,
So
classic.
I knew this would be your jam.
Yeah, man.
I figured you probably heard it before.
I had, although it's not, it's not very big on my radar or anything like that. It says he was born in Shreveport.
I was I was going to say, hey, the dude was born right up the road from us on I-20.
Although they moved to Los Angeles, when he was a child, and he ran track for Compton High School.
Now, here's something interesting that you might not know about Brenton Wood. Before you read much further, don't steal my thunder here.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I thought something that was really interesting is that he is actually kind of revered and famous in lowrider circles.
Interesting.
Yeah, the lowrider culture really loves Brenton Wood, and anytime he has like concerts and stuff, large contingencies of lowrider enthusiasts show up to these things.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I listened to a little podcast, and he explained that as he was a young man coming up and growing up in that part of Los Angeles or whatever, he would sing and try to get songs, and he would sing about the troubles and struggles that were going on in that community, and they took a liking to him, and he befriended them, and they supported him, and
That is so interesting.
yeah, and whenever people go to his shows, several generations of people come to see him. And my favorite part of this story is the man is 82, and he only just this year, a couple of months ago, finally hung it up and quit touring. He just finished a farewell tour at 82. Homeboy's still doing it. And he's finally done, but
incredible.
I love that. And he was still bringing the audiences, man.
Yeah, and yeah, I like how you were asking me, or when you first started off asking about song length and everything, and I feel like that's a perfect song length for this song. It's short, but it hits all the marks that it needs to hit without having to draw it out. He didn't think it was necessary to have an extended organ solo or a third verse or anything like that. He said what he wanted to say, played the notes that he wanted to play, and they were done. And
we mentioned that also whenever we were talking about the Jim Croce song, because we said that Jim Croce song, if it decided to go on for another verse, we would probably we might check out.
Correct.
So it's good, but it's I think that one ended only at like three minutes and like 3 minutes, a little over 3 minutes, something like that. But 2 minutes and 20 seconds. He's in and out. He's got a perfect pop song. It's sunshiny, and you've got a little injection of warmth and happiness and a smile, and you're like, what a great song,
Oh man, yeah. Well, and that does bring up the question. I know I'd said earlier that I didn't want to try to come up with an example, and I might try to put you on the spot since you're the presenter. But can you think of any songs that do run a bit too long, that run longer than your taste? That you still let's think of songs that you like, or maybe even love, or whatever, but maybe they're just a tad too long. Oh, I know I have a perfect example actually.
Oh
But
boy, I want to hear it.
you want to go ahead and hear my example?
No, you go ahead because I'm going to try to think of one.
All right, here it goes. It's a good song. It's a great song even. And I've had several people tell me that my opinion sucks on this matter, but the song Kashmir by Led Zeppelin is way too long. Way too long. Way too long.
I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair. Yeah.
I like the song, but I can't listen the original recording, as it were. I can't. It's just I'll listen about half of it, and then I'm like I'm ready to skip and move on.
Yeah.
Can you think of another example?
Oh man, I know they're out there. In fact, I think I even. Oh, okay. There was what was it? Okay, you know what? Here it is. The Smiths, "The Boy with the Thorn in His Side." It's too long. Jay Mascis did it better. He did it quicker.
I will 100% agree with you there.
I knew you would. I still love that one. I love that.
For those
one.
of you listening who remember
episode, I believe.
Who remember back to our, what was that, episode
3?
Where Clay shared "The Boy with a Thorn in His Side" by the Smiths and one Jay Mascis.
Go back and listen. It's a fun time, I thought.
Yeah.
I was the only one that had fun on that one, I guess.
No, I had a great time. I just didn't love the song.
So yeah, but it goes on quite a bit, the Smiths version. But Jay got to the meat and potatoes of it. He did it, live really quick in like 2.5 minutes or something like that, and it was done, and it was great. But yeah, that Smiths version, it goes on a bit because Morrissey likes to yodel and be Morrissey, and that's why we love him.
Right.
That's why I love him. Anyway, but I don't know. That's an example. I can probably come up. As soon as we end this and we hit publish, I'll come up with half a dozen of them.
Oh yeah, I know that's right. But that's one of my That's one of my big examples of a song that goes too far or too long. Let me ask you this though. Now that I'm thinking about it, can you think of a song that you wish was longer?
That I wish was longer?
Yeah, like you're so into it, and it stops and you're not really ready for it to stop. Like it's not long enough. Can you think of a song that might fall in that regard?
I'll give you an example. Oh man, I keep.
It's tough,
I don't want to. The first thing that came to mind was another Smashing Pumpkins song, and I don't want to do. I don't want to keep doing that. When I was listening to Full Body 2 last night, I was like, I would not have minded if it went a couple of more, just a few more bars, and did the little synth hook a couple more times.
Mm-hmm.
I would not have minded that at all.
That's fair.
Because one of the things that when you have those little loops like that, and this is like going way far off, I think, from our discussion, but we've talked about My Bloody Valentine, Loveless. They've got a couple of tracks on there that have these little loops that do this, and they repeat and they go and they repeat for several minutes, and you've got everything else still going on underneath it in this wash of fuzz and everything, but you've got these little synth loops, and they just go and go and go. And I remember when I saw them live, we this one song, I think it probably went on for 10 minutes, and we did not mind. Nobody minded.
Right.
Everybody loved it, and we were just entranced.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an example of where I do not mind, because it sometimes you get into one of those zones, and it's okay that it repeats and repeats and repeats if you're locked into it somehow.
Right. No,
That's the example that I can think of. But it's kind of the
good.
opposite
It's good.
Of this song. But
Right.
anyway.
Well, the discussion about length is just kind of what spurred the questions, and I appreciate you throwing some good examples out there, man. That's some good insights on those songs. But yeah, so give me a little sign. Yeah, that fits right into, I've got like a classic R&B soul playlist, and
Is this one going to make the list?
It already was on the list, as it turns out. Because I'm
nice.
pretty sure
I know I'd sent it.
It's from when you shared it before, and it's been a little bit since you shared it.
It's grabbed me a couple of times.
Yeah,
a couple of times in the past couple of weeks or so, and and it definitely gets the thumbs up, the like button, whatever.
Mm-hmm. No, it fits that, but it's got like this. It's kind of hard to explain how it is. It's the same as like. It's the same era as something like Temptations, Four Tops, that sort of thing, but it's not a Motown sound. It's more. Man, I'm trying to figure out how to put out there where my mind is settling on this thing, because it's not. It's classic soul, but it's not just soul. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's kind of a maybe I don't know if it's the organ solo or what, but maybe it's like a little taste of like psychedelic rock or something in there.
Yeah,
I don't know. I could be.
It's got a vibe,
way off, but there's a vibe to it that's above and beyond your classic.
I feel like it's something that some kind of hipster band today would try to emulate.
Okay, yeah.
But this is the real deal.
Oh, well, of course, yeah.
This is as legit as it gets. I think this is straight up 67.
I think you touched on something there, because I listen to some. I don't deep dive neo soul or modern soul or any of that stuff, but I do listen to some things, and there's bands, modern bands now, that are emulating this very sound. They'll have maybe a more complicated beat, obviously more bass heavy, kind of a more overproduced type of sound. Mm-hmm. But it all sounds good, and they all have they're great songs, great vocals, great music.
It's like there's like an old feel, like a grit or something that's kind of in there that people like. That
I feel
makes you feel like you're dropping the needle on an old.
I feel like with this song, it's very much 1967, but could very much be a neo soul song that got put out last week by some current band that had every member of this current band could be 30 years old or younger, and they're singing this song, and I feel like
it's like give me a little sign. Like 5 or 6 of them probably. It takes like 5 or 6 people, and this is 4 guys, 3 guys in the studio, and they knocked this out, and then smoked half a pack, and then made another one right after.
So I feel like he's almost ahead of his time on this record, on this recording. And so I appreciate that, because it, like I said, it sounds like it could have been released yesterday as a neo soul album or a record, or 67. What is that? Almost 60 years ago now. Isn't that wild?
It's amazing.
But
and I just the best, the icing on the cake was finding out that he's still doing it. I mean, that he was still doing it this year. And he finally stopped in August. And
some of these guys, I just can't believe, people from 50, 60 plus years ago are still just, they'll get out there and just, and not, it's not like they're sitting on a stool just singing, half-heartedly either. They're out there performing, and drawing crowds, and, somebody who would have bought their record when they were 8 is still going to their concerts today, you know.
I love it.
And it's just, yeah, that all of that kind of mentality is conjured from just one song, you know.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it.
Well, dude, I'm glad you enjoyed the song. I think we've spent about 20 minutes talking about a 2-minute song.
Oh, jeez.
Which
How
I'm
long?
so glad.
How long is too long for a podcast talking about one song?
We're one of the shorter ones. I think we're one of the shorter ones.
I believe you're right on that one. But you know what? Shorter.
I am noticing a
sometimes
trend
is
though.
better.
Some of these are getting a little long, but
Hey,
whatever.
right.
This is
That's
our
all
show.
right.
We can make it as long or short as we like.
Hey, you know what? Shorter is better in many cases, such as the song itself that we were talking about. So
Yeah,
I appreciate the share, man. That was surprising, and I enjoyed listening to it and talking about it.
Me too, man. I can't wait to do another one. In the meantime, people, be sure to take your vitamins, say your prayers, and share music with each other. It is a gift. And,
Absolutely.
Give generously. Have a good one, Michael.
All right, you too, Clay. Next time.
Oh, boy.
Hey, we really appreciate you listening to the show today. If you enjoyed it, feel free to listen to the rest of our catalog and share it with your friends. Go ahead and follow us. And you can find me on Instagram at Clay Dang Collins. Thanks a lot. We'll see you on the next one.